What's up, Reptilian Kingdom? On today's video, we are gonna go check out Petco Bearded Dragon Care Guide online. We're gonna go through the whole thing. Oh, sorry, buddy. All right, we're gonna hold you instead. Anyways, we're gonna go through the whole thing and summarize and see what we feel is accurate and what we feel on the care guide that needs some improvement. Let's go get this video going. You're a hasty one right now. Whoa, try to jump on the screen because there's a scream of a snake. All right, we're at the animal care sheet for Petco. We're looking for bearded dragons specific. Boop by Petco. So whatever site Boop is the one that writes all the care guide sheets for Petco, I'm assuming. So right here, immediately we got amphibians, fish, bird, cat, dog, small animals, reptile, invertebrates, general care sheet. We're gonna go to reptiles and we want specifically bearded dragon, which is on a B section. And now, okay, we're at the bearded dragon care sheet. Buddy, that's a bearded dragon. That's your family. Oh, is it making you panic a little? All right, can I get started? Bearded dragon care sheet, developed and approved by qualified veterinarian. All right, table of contents, overview, typical bearded dragon appearance. So these are the things we're gonna be going over from the table of contents. The overview, typical bearded dragon appearance, behavior, characteristic, supplies, habitat, feeding, care, where to buy, habitat, mates, health, common bearded dragon health issue, facts, note, and source. Pagona, perhaps the most popular pet lizard, bearded dragon originally from the deserts of Central Australia. I mean, I would say iguanas are way more popular, but in terms of pet, I guess you could say bearded dragon because they're not too small like a leopard gecko, and they're not too big like a iguana once they're adults. So yeah, you could say that in terms of pet wise, a bearded dragon is most popular. But if you tell me more people know what a bearded dragon is compared to iguana, that's false, because I can carry my bearded dragon around and everyone would be like, oh, what a nice iguana, and I'm like, yes, thank you. I don't even bother trying to correct people anymore. Even when I'm shipping out my bearded dragons at FedEx, we have this lady that works there always like, oh, what you shipping today? A bearded dragon. I was like, oh, we have one of those big green ones. And I'm just like, yes, sure. Typical bearded dragon behavior and appearance. Tolerate handling and interaction with human. They do, oh, he's about to hop on me. They don't mind being handled, to be honest. Over time, if they've been handled for a while since they were a baby, 99% of the time they don't mind being handled. Afterwards, they're actually comfortable with it and they don't mind. Under their chin, they turn black when they are stressed, which is true. You can see like on the bottom right here, their beard, it can turn black when they're stressed, as in like sickness, domination, wanting to feel like the alpha of the group, head bobbling, mating. Tempered, docile, easy to tame. I'll say they are easy to tame and docile. From a young age, if you started at a young age, but if you start from an adult, like a 3-4 years old bearded dragon, it takes a little more longer to tame a dragon, especially when they feel threatened, bear puffing, wanting to bite you. That communicate with each other through gestures such as arm waving, in which they lift a front leg and wave it back and forth in submission to another lizard. That's true. When a bearded dragon is doing that little hand waving, people like me in the beginning would think they're waving, but they're not. It's a form of submission to other bearded dragons, or even sometimes to human or my dogs. They will have that form of submission. So care difficulty is beginner. I actually think it's an intermediate. I don't like how people post it as beginner, because once you know how much effort it takes to actually take care of a bearded dragon, it's a lot more work than people believe. Trust me, I've been through it. When I first got my bearded dragon, I read through Petco care guide out of everything to like get my information. Then I started going on YouTube and learn more from like more established people, breeders and pet lovers. There's so many other things that you learn on the way of carrying a bearded dragon that you wouldn't learn off of a care sheet. Average lifespan 8 to 12 years with proper care. I would agree with that. Well, I never had a bearded dragon. I never had a bearded dragon for 12 years in total. I mean, my girl Charizard is about to be 7 this year in October. I know she's getting up there in age. She's a 22-inch bearded dragon that I bought off of Craigslist, and now I am providing her with a better life, better enclosure, and everything else that goes with it. So Charizard, I hope that ever since I purchased you as an adult, I am doing my part in making you happy. Average adult size, up to 24-inch long, half of this being their tail, which is true. Charizard is my largest bearded dragon, and she's a 22-inch from tail to head. Diet omnivore, plants, and protein, which is true. I'll go more in depth about it later. Minimum habitat size. Oh, this is a big one for me because I fell for this one. 20-gallon tank for juvenile, 40-gallon breeder tank for adult. So here's the thing. When I bought Charizard adult 22-inch bearded dragon, she came with a 40-gallon glass enclosure, which was 36 by 18 by 18, which is not the proper size. You're talking about a dragon, an enclosure, and it's not even 2 times the size of the dragon, the enclosure. Yes, you could do that for temporary as you're setting up your bigger tank, but I would not recommend it for long term. I mean, Charizard for the first 2 years of her life, I guess, was in that 40-gallon enclosure, but now I have her in a 120-gallon, and it's not just an empty 120-gallon. This one actually has things for her to climb and hide. So yeah, in terms of enclosure, minimum would have to be at least a 120-gallon. 20-gallon for a juvenile, yeah, you could do that for temporary. Now we're at the supplies. Habitat. Anyway, you see how calm she is now? She is a little stressed, so I do need to put her back very soon. But habitat size, we gonna do that. Building your habitat, decor, substrate, temperature. Let's see substrate. Provide commercial available substrate or reptile carpet. Reptile carpet is a big no-no. Like I said, when I started off with Charizard, she had a reptile carpet, which looks nice, but it's not good. Because you gotta think about it. When your bearded dragon poops on the carpet, what happens? Even if you pick it up right away, immediately, that's bacteria. Bacteria is gonna constantly produce onto that carpet and causing potential sickness, yellow fungus to your bearded dragon. But you see, this is where I'm talking about the care guide. Is like giving you sand, feed your reptile in a dish, feeding tank to reduce ingestion. Yeah, I agree with that. If you have sand in your enclosure, definitely have a feeding bowl. Temperature, 100 degrees for the warm end and 75 for the cool end. I would partially agree with that. I mean, on the basking area where it's like you'll have a lamp that produce heat and some lighting, I'll have that area more in the 100 to 105 degree-ish, and then you'll have on the other side more 80, 85-ish coolish side. So it's like, imagine my 120-gallon tank. You have the basking area, which is closer to the edge of one side, producing 100 to 105 degree heat. But if you go more on the other side, on the other edge, you'll have a 85 degree coolish side, and that's something a 40-gallon tank can't do. You can't regulate heat from 100 degrees to 80 degree off of that 36-inch. You get what I'm saying? Lighting, to produce vitamin D in their skin to enable them to absorb dietary calcium and build strong bones. Bearded dragon require a full spectrum ultraviolet UVB rays of 10 to 12 hours a day. The light should be approximately 1 to 2 feet away from the lizard. Should be replaced every 6 months. Okay, so yeah, UVB light. I will have a UVB lamp which covers most of the enclosure, 1 to 2 feet in height away. You want at least from the solar meter to have at least number 4 to 5 from where it's like the basking area. You don't want a UVB bulb because it's only catering towards a specific area, and it really doesn't produce that much UVB. If you actually have one of those solar meters, you could track how much UVB is producing. If you're buying something like Arcadia brand, it may last you up to a year. I can't guarantee you it. That's why a solar meter is super important to see. Yeah, it might be producing light. The UVB might be gone, so you're always gonna have to check weekly, monthly. Humidity, maintain 30 to 50%. I like to maintain a 30 to 40% humidity. I don't want to go past 40, partially because potential respiratory issue. But you do want some humidity because it does help with the shedding of a bearded dragon, which they do shed roughly twice a year. What do bearded dragons eat? Bearded dragons are omnivore, requiring both plant and animal matter. True. A well-balanced juvenile bearded dragon consists of 70% gut-loaded insects such as cricket, mealworm, hornworm, waxworm, cow's worm, or however you say it, roaches, and superworm. 30% mixed vegetable, such as dark leafy greens, squash, carrots, green, and fruits, including kiwi, banana, mango, papaya, apple. Adult bearded dragon, I would say, is a 70% dark leafy greens, 30% proteins like dubia roach, crickets, and stuff like that. But the juvenile, yeah, I would say juvenile, 70% gut loaded protein. A baby bearded dragon, we're talking about a newborn to 6 weeks old. I would just strictly feed it protein every day, making sure that the babies have enough protein on a daily basis. And after like 6 weeks, I'll start introducing greens. But you don't want to wait till like 3-4 months. Otherwise, there's a high chance your bearded dragon may just not ever eat greens. And the thing is, if they don't end up eating greens, you'll have to like try to get them to eat the greens, because greens are super important. And that's where my bee pollen powder comes in. We created this bee pollen powder, organic bee pollen powder, which will entice your bearded dragon to eat food that it's supposed to but won't eat. Like for example, my bearded dragon Charizard, when I first had her, she did not eat her greens. The owners never fed her greens. The moment I dust her food with bee pollen, she's addicted. She goes swarm into her greens. She'll devour her greens, whether it's greens, protein, whatever. You could get that bee pollen in the link below or at reptiliankingdom.com. I love to feed my bearded dragon dubia roaches. We have our own dubia roaches too, which you could get at reptiliankingdom.com. I'll feed crickets sometimes, superworms, not often, like once a month. Hornworm, I would only feed once a month, and I would not feed more than one hornworm unless you want a stinky diarrhea poo the next day. Hornworm is filled with liquid and rarely any protein. The other thing about hornworm is I will only feed it to a sub-adult to adult bearded dragon. And also, when you're feeding your bearded dragon, you always want to give it calcium, vitamin here and there. I like to include my bee pollen, because my bee pollen does provide nutrients for bearded dragon thrive as well. 2 to 3 days a week I'll feed calcium. 1 to 2 days a week I'll feed them vitamin, depending on how often I give my bearded dragons bee pollen. But that is it for now. I mean, I hope you learned something new, that there are some things you could take away from this bearded dragon care guide at Petco, but there's a lot of things I feel like isn't as accurate, that it's more so to entice you to purchase more of their accessories here, which I wouldn't really recommend. And don't forget, for your heat lamp at night, if your place is like 50 degrees, you still need a heat lamp next to your basking area, but make sure it doesn't produce light like a red light. I noticed that a lot of Petcos entice you to buy the red light, where it's like it produces heat but also produce red light at night for them to sleep. Bearded dragons can't sleep with the lights on, just saying. They're just like us, and they get really grumpy and stressed off of that. If you learned something new, don't forget to like and subscribe. We have a lot more videos coming your way, and we'll see you on the next one, Reptilians.